This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you, Sharon, for pressing record again. I forgot again. So again, we have emergency or crisis care. So we have many carers who are available, I guess. It could be the evenings or the weekends when we need to find a home for a child or sometimes a sibling group immediately. So, you know, you would be required then to take in those kids that day and generally have them for up to 7 days. Sometimes that can go on a little bit longer, but yeah, it tends to be typically up to 7 days. But sometimes, you know, emergency carers only have a couple of nights available. So really it's whatever people are able to do as well. Short to medium term foster care then tends to be from your like 1 week up to 12 months. It can be. So these tend to be the carers who support children who potentially are being reunified with families. So there might be a reunification plan in place. Or they might be looking for a longer term option for these children. So yeah, it's really looking after them in the short term until a longer term option is found. Kinship foster care then, which I mentioned earlier, is where children go and stay with a relative. Life Without Barriers here in WA doesn't actually have any kinship foster carers, but there are many through the Department of Child Protection, and our colleagues in other states actually do support kinship foster carers as well. And look, it's something that we're really supportive of at Life Without Barriers. You know, we're constantly working with the department to try and find family who could take the kids, because we know that children have better outcomes when they are placed with family. And then long-term foster care. So I guess really that is our carers who commit to having children up until they're 18 and sometimes beyond that. So yeah, we have many foster carers who have children for, it could be 17, 18 years, so a very long time. And they become part of their family. Any questions or comments or anything so far? Feel free to use the chat box, guys, and I can answer questions as I go, or else we can have a bit more of a discussion at the end. Okay, so today, I guess what we're really primarily looking for, it's a little bit different to your, you know, typical foster care within your own home. But you know, if someone feels today like maybe this isn't for them, but they would love to provide care in their own home, we would still love to hear from you. But today is really looking for carers who are willing to travel and willing to go to Kalgoorlie or Broome and provide care for children and young people in our family group homes. So look, in the family group home, there can be up to 4 children. They're not always full, so they might only be 2 or 3 children sometimes. Could be a sibling group, or they may be unrelated. So the family group home setting is it's a temporary care environment for the children and young people. So it's for up to 2 years, and it's really to give us that time to either assess a family for them, or for the department to look at them being reunified with family. It's to give us time to really work quite intensively with the children and young people as well. Make sure that they're engaged with the psychologist and that they're having their therapy needs met. So yeah, it's a 2-year, ideally 2-year placement, while we really look at other avenues and other placements for the children and young people. What we are looking for at the moment is people who are willing to do 2 weeks in the house and then have 2 weeks off. So we would look at flying you to Kalgoorlie or Broome to do the 2-week care, and then fly you back home, wherever home might be. I'm not sure where you guys are located. But yeah, fly you back home so that you'd have that 2-week break. And we're hoping by doing that, that we would, you know, be able to give people, I guess, a good lifestyle, in that, you know, you'd have your 2 weeks off as well. So you have your time to, sorry, I'm flicking through too quickly. So that you'd have your break as well. And I guess that, you know, you don't burn out. I'm getting lost in my slideshow. So yeah, making sure that we are looking after our carers, and that you're, you know, ready and able to do your 2 weeks on, because it can be quite challenging. These are young people who have experienced significant trauma. Sometimes they've had multiple placements before coming to the family group home. So you will encounter, you know, challenges. I guess the other part of it is some of these children wouldn't have lived together before if they weren't a sibling group. So it's managing the group dynamics with potentially up to 4 children. And yeah, some of them do have quite extreme pain-based behaviours related to their past trauma as well. Look, that is something that we will provide a lot more training on and support as you go through the process. But it is important to be aware that it is quite a full-on role. Yeah, so you're provided with a financial reimbursement for the care that you are providing. So that is a tax-free allowance, and we can discuss that more a little bit later. And then obviously you are provided with accommodation, so you live in the home, and have a vehicle and utilities and food as well when you're in the family group home. We have 2 carers there at all times. So I guess ideally, you know, we have couples who tend to go and do that together, but we do also have single carers who go, and we pair them together, and they do their 2 weeks together. So I guess we would need to look at that and look at all of our carers and your skill sets and pair you with someone who we think that you would be, I guess, work well alongside, because it is, you know, 2 weeks is a long time as well. I guess the day-to-day routines are quite typical of, you know, parenting and looking after children. It tends to be getting the kids up in the morning, getting the routine, you know, the showering, dress, breakfast. All of the kids go to school at the moment anyway. I guess you need to be available during the day just in case school calls and they're sick, or they might have been suspended, or you may have a couple of meetings to attend during the day. But if the kids are in school, the day is your own, I guess, to do, to have a little break if you need to. And yeah, there'd be the usual kind of household duties and stuff as well during the day. And then collecting the kids in the evening. You know, they may have recreational activities and things that they're booked into in the evenings. And then it would be, you know, dinner and baths and beds and things like that. So yeah, we don't have any night awake or anything in the house. So, but you know, carers would go to sleep. That's not a requirement. And then the weekends are, you know, I guess trying to make them as fun as possible for the children and young people. So that tends to be your typical week. Sorry, I just have a question here. I'll answer. What age groups are in the family group home? So look, it ranges really from children aged, you know, 5 or 6 up to teenage, up to 15, 16. So yeah, it really varies. Yeah, it tends to be. We don't usually have any babies or little ones because I guess the family group home environment isn't appropriate for them. But yeah, we can have children as young as 5 or 6, especially if in a sibling group. But again, can go up to 17. So really, you're looking at 5, 6 to 17. Hope that answers your question. So what is the Life Without Barriers approach to foster care? I guess it's really important for us to ensure that we achieve the best possible outcomes for these children, wherever they're placed. And I guess we have implemented a model which we feel helps us as a team, and helps us, helps you guys as carers, support the children achieve those best possible outcomes. Keep losing my little mouse thing. Gone. Okay. So I guess one of the first principles of care is being relationships based. For us, this is the foundation of everything that we do. Children need trusting, meaningful relationships with adults who care for them, so that they can build that emotional and social confidence. Research demonstrates that children just need one adult, a meaningful relationship with one adult who they trust, who they know cares about them, and they will be more successful. The next one is being developmentally focused. So that is ensuring that we are implementing strategies and caring for children in a way that they can understand. We know that children who experience trauma sometimes, well, it always impacts on their brain development. So therefore, they might not developmentally be at their chronological age. So you might have a child who's 10, but really, I guess, functions at a 6-year-old level. So it's really important for us that we have strategies and that we understand that, so that we are working alongside that child to make sure that they can succeed. That we're trauma informed. Look, we'll talk a lot more about trauma if you decide to proceed from today. It's really important that I guess all of our carers understand trauma, understand the impact of trauma. Like I mentioned, it does have an impact on a child's developing brain. And as you might be aware, it can cause lots of I guess confusion, a loss of of identity, low self-esteem. There might be some pain-based behaviors there as well related to that trauma. So it's really important that our carers understand, I guess, the reasoning behind some of those behaviors sometimes, and how to help a child work through those moments. Being family involved, that is something that we expect as well from all of our foster carers. It's really important that a child is still connected to family wherever possible. It again is tied to their, I guess, their sense of self-worth and self-esteem. So I guess we want our carers to speak positively about family and parents. It might be supporting family contact sometimes, it might be supporting reunification, and that can be really, really challenging. When a child isn't having contact, it might just be having photos of the child's family and being able to talk to them about their family, but that is something that we do expect. Yeah. Being competency centered, again, that's a little bit linked to being developmentally focused, but it's really around our carers setting these children and young people up with the skills they need to succeed in life. So depending on their age and development, it's simple tasks every day. It might be teaching them how to make their bed, or how to make their favorite snack, or how to have a friendship, and how to play in the playground with other children. So yeah, it's really teaching them those life skills is what that's about. And being ecologically orientated. So again, research shows that the environment which children are in, has a massive impact on them. So we try as much as possible to make sure that the homes that we do have, the family group homes in Broome and Kalgoorlie, they're warm, they're welcoming, they're inviting. They're decorated in a child-friendly way. That when children move into the home, that we allow them to decorate their own room and have it whatever way they like. And that helps show them that we care about them, and that it's a safe environment for them. Okay, any comments or questions? No. Okay. Just keep checking the chat box in case you're sending me loads.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Sandy. I'm just curious. With violence, but how does it work? Like, if you get a child, say, that is leading towards violence, what is your stand on that? How does that work?
So with a child that is potentially violent, guys, I'll just mute you all while I answer. For 2 seconds, because I can hear a lot of background noise. So look, with all of our carers, we want you to have it's called therapeutic crisis intervention training. So that really gives you the skills and I guess the confidence to be able to manage those situations, and what that teaches you is how to learn when a child is escalating, so that you can try and I guess get in there before it leads to that violent outburst. So it's giving you strategies and things like that to de-escalate the situation beforehand. You know, should you have tried all of that and there is still the child has become violent, then we talk through strategies around what you would do in that situation, which, you know, potentially might be removing yourself and the other carer and the other children in the home. You know, and at the end of the day, if everyone's at risk and there's a safety concern, it would be calling the police or, you know, calling our on-call service as well for some backup. So we do have a 24/7 on-call line as well, who you can, you know, there's always someone at the end of the phone that you can ring for advice. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Sorry, I've muted everyone. Did that answer your question? Okay, I'm hoping so.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
No worries at all. If anyone else has questions as well, I've just put you on mute again, I think. So yeah, feel free to pop them into the chat box. So what if you don't have experience with special needs? Look, that's okay. We do provide training. I guess it is desirable, I guess, for the family group homes that you have some experience caring for children. You know, in some kind of role, or, you know, if you've had parenting experience, but it's not completely necessary. We will provide that training and I guess assess you as you're going through that training as well, to make sure that you feel comfortable and confident caring for children who do have those special needs. Hope that answers that question. Okay, so just a little bit about children in care. So there are many reasons children come into care. You know, they come from all cultures and all corners of our country, and they're all very individual and have, you know, different experiences, different needs, and they've all come from, I guess, a variety of complex situations where they, you know, more than likely have suffered trauma, neglect and abuse. Sorry everyone, my computer's playing silly buggers today. So children in care, look, they're aged between 0 and 17. So some children, you know, stay in care until their 18th birthday. Yeah, really a huge range. I like for that barriers, we have kids all of those ages. So yeah. Come from a range of cultural backgrounds. In Kalgoorlie and Broome, the majority of the children in the family group homes are Aboriginal. So that is, you know, something that you would need to learn more about. We will provide you with training on that, how to really, I guess, support them remaining connected to their culture as well. And they all have families who are very important to them, and families who they, you know, more than likely will go back to when they turn 18. So it's really important wherever possible that we keep those families linked in, and keep that relationship alive while they're in our care. And yeah, look, just the fact that these children have been removed from family causes trauma. But again, there's a, you know, variety of different things that may have happened then when they were living at home with their family. So what's the most important role of foster carers? So we need carers with attributes and beliefs that we know are good for children. I have some videos here, but they actually didn't work when I did this on Wednesday night. But the lovely Sharon, my colleague, is going to post the links onto the chat box because I think they're a really good way of hearing, I guess, firsthand from foster carers and from care leavers about their experiences. Now, we also have two of our lovely foster carers here today, who I might, if I'm not putting them totally under the spotlight, maybe talk to you a little bit at the end. Guys, you can maybe say yes or no into the chat box if you feel comfortable doing that. So who can be a carer? So look, our carers come from all backgrounds. We have married couples, single, living together, divorced. Yeah, your ability to care and look after a child is really what matters. So you must be over 21 with some relevant life experience. Look, like I mentioned earlier, experience with children is desirable but not essential. You're well and healthy, doesn't matter what cultural background you're from, single or in a relationship, willing to undergo the background check. So that's the police clearance, working with children, and 395 as well. Yeah, you know, whether you have children or not, that does not matter. You're active and willing and happy to do the required training, which is something that's really, really important, that, you know, we've given you the tools to be able to care for these kids. So that is a requirement. Some questions. So yeah, I already mentioned, that's fine. Yes, of course, if you're a same-sex couple, you can foster. If you have your own children, yes, of course. So great foster carers have the following things. I guess so if you look at this list and think that you have, you know, hopefully most of these attributes, but at least quite a few of them, then we would love to hear more from you. So having patience and understanding, you know, that's just so important. Acceptance and availability, the commitment to these kids, a flexible approach, time to give, a commitment to maintaining and strengthening family relationships. About the process. So look, if you want to proceed from today, I'll explain a little bit more about that. But time-wise, it will probably take around 3 months. But yeah. There's 6 stages. So after today, if you're interested, it would be making that kind of initial inquiry phone call where we could talk about the role in a bit more detail and find out if it's right for you. We would then do a home visit, or in this case, we might get you to come to our office, depending where you are, or set up a Zoom session maybe, just again to talk a bit more about the role and find out a bit more about you. From here, if you're still interested, you would complete an application form, followed by training, and then the assessment process. So one of our assessors would go through that assessment process with you. So they would go through your, you know, your background, your beliefs, and then look at, you know, look at some case studies, and go through those with you to make sure that you're prepared for this, and that we feel that you're the right person to care for these children. And then from there, you would be approved as a carer. Any questions about that? Does that make sense to everybody? Ooh, I've got a few comments in here. Heidi said thanks very much, so I'll take that as a yes. She's happy to talk at the end. Do LWB organise first aid? Yes, we can do that. Where should we introduce ourselves to the school? I'm not sure if do you mean the children's school? Yes, yeah. So if you're the carers in that home, then yes, you very much would have a relationship with the school that the children go to. I hope that answers your question. And Dixie, what does the training entail? So you're working full time at the moment. So the foster carer preparation training is the first one that you have to do prior to your approval. So that is done, it can be face-to-face is ideal. Depending if you're a bit more remote and regional, you can do it online. That is 6 modules. It's really just looking at, I guess, the basics, understanding the reasons children come into care. There's a bit on trauma, a bit on managing behaviours, around the reunification process, cultural awareness, if I didn't mention that. So yeah, it's a really good comprehensive place to start, I think. Maybe Heidi can comment on that a little bit later. But yeah, that you need to do that before you're approved. And then the therapeutic crisis intervention training for foster carers is a 3-day training, so 3 full days. We haven't obviously been able to run that for a little while due to the pandemic, but we're hoping we'll be able to do that again by the end of August. So yeah, it would be really important for you guys to do that as well. And then a lot of our training is online, and we don't expect you to have everything done straight away. If you have the prep training and the TCIF training done, that would really be sufficient for you to get started. And then we have a whole suite of modules that can be done online over a period of time as well. I hope that answered your question. But we can work around the working thing. We tend to be a little bit creative around that. Is internet available in the houses? Yes. Yeah, which obviously causes some issues with the kids, so that's something you need to monitor as well. What support will you receive as a carer? Look, we try to never leave people alone in their journey. We are always here. It is a very, very challenging role. In my opinion, it is the most challenging role that people could ever do. But it's also very rewarding. So yeah, Heidi can maybe talk to that a little bit more as well firsthand. You do receive training, like I mentioned earlier. There's 24/7 on-call support. So if you're struggling at the weekend with the child and you're not sure what to do, you're welcome to call us. That's what we're there for. So like I mentioned, you do receive financial support. So you receive a reimbursement for caring for the children. Specialist support, we have counselling for our carers and their families. We have a clinical team who do provide behaviour support. So they help our carers work on some of the behaviours that the young people might have. Yeah, so there's a whole range of people that work with you. you'd be allocated a caseworker who is primarily supporting you and the children in your care. And they really are massive advocates for you, and really, communicate very regularly, do your carer supervision with you, and just regularly check in and make sure that you're doing okay. And if they feel you're struggling, then, they'd implement some things to help you. You might receive respite depending on, if you're caring full time, the children you're caring for, and carer networking as well. So we try as much as possible to get our carers together. Now that we are hopefully able to start spending more time together physically again, that's really something I want to get going again. I know feedback from carers has been that, other carers are a massive support to them, and we do have some fantastic, really experienced carers who we could link you up with as well. And that's just really it. We have a model that we're hoping to build on over the next 12 months, which is the Mockingbird model. We are going to have carer ambassadors as well. So they will be carers who are employed to basically support all of our other carers as well. So that'll tie in with the Mockingbird model. But we'll talk more about that, I think, when, if you guys decide to proceed. Alrighty, so where to from here? Our website is a really great resource if you haven't already been on there.
Hi. How many kids do you have in there at any one time?
Up to 4.
Up to 4. Thank you.
Yeah. No, that's fine. So look, what I'll do is I'll just leave this up here. And so if you want to find out more from today, feel free to look at the website. If you want to proceed, ring our 1300 number and they will go through that initial interview with you. Or if you have more questions, feel free to give me a call and we can talk about it in more detail. Now, let's see, is everyone off mute? Heidi, Mark, did you want to talk maybe a little bit about your experience as foster carers with us?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Maybe if anybody's got questions, I could probably start off that way because I don't know how to begin.
Okay, if anyone has any questions for Heidi. Heidi, how long have you been a foster carer with us? Maybe start there.
I think we've been with Life Without Barriers for just over 9 years, 9 or 10 years now, so quite a long time. And we currently have 6 children full-time in our care.
Does anyone have any questions for Heidi?
Yeah. Hi, Heidi.
Hi.
With visitations and things like that, how does that work? Like with the kids, with their families or that sort of thing, how does that work?
Okay, so there's lots of variances around that, but generally when the children are quite new into care, that's all usually organised through the department, and they send out drivers, which are called frees, that come and pick the children up and take them, because then they can supervise the contact. We've had children that have been in our care for quite a long time, so we tend to be a lot more involved with our families. And one point about that is when you have more to do with your families, the outcomes, whether the children live with you full time or not, the outcomes are always much better. The relationships are always stronger and the children just function better. So we always try and encourage relationships with our families, between ourselves as well. There's certainly limits on what we do, but we do try and do transport to take the children to go and see them, but we haven't as yet done supervisions. We don't stay with them. Usually someone from the department, or if they're supervised, we drop them off. But I really encourage carers to embrace that, because it can be a little bit scary to start off with, but it works in your favour the more involved you are.
Okay, thanks, Heidi.
No worries, Del.
Is she in Broome?
Anyone else have any questions for Heidi?
Heidi, yeah, Heidi, it's Shirley Russell here. Are you? I'm in here with Sandy. Are you in Broome or are you in Kalgoorlie?
Neither. Heidi's one of our carers in Perth.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. Thank you.
If anyone would like to talk to any of the family group home carers in Kalgoorlie or Broome, I would be happy to arrange that. So if you'd like to talk to someone who's actually there, just give me a call and I can link up some time for you to talk with them.
Okay. What number do I call? I missed
So I just have it up on the screen there. So it's just my mobile at the bottom. So 0475.
Yep.
953
0475 953
799.
799. Okay, thank you.
And there's also a call me back form here on the chat as well that Sharon has posted. So if anyone wants to just click on that link and you want to call back, and we can give you a call back. Sorry, I have a few more questions here. Connie was wondering, so we have houses, so you would go into the houses where the kids are living. So it's not a hotel or accommodation like that. So we have 3 houses in Broome and 2 in Kalgoorlie that we've had for a few years. So yeah, you would go there. And do you have info on the financial package? Yes. So look, that will vary depending on what you're doing. But if you were to do a full week in the family group home, it would be over $1,000. It would be $1,158 per week. But again, that will probably depend on the different, I guess, kind of rosters and things that we end up looking at. But we can talk about that in more detail if you're interested in proceeding. How long have Broome and Cal been operating? Ooh, goodness. We have had the family group homes for 10 years, I think. It might even, yeah, about 10 years. Because I've been here for about 9, and yeah, we've had them that long. So yeah. The callback form is just there, so Sharon has posted that if you want to click on that link, if that's easiest, or like I said, just give me a call. Does anyone else have any questions? Is FIFO only a new concept? Yes, it is. We currently we've had carers, tend to be carer couples, live full time in the family group homes. So they would do 2 weeks and they would have 2 nights respite, or they might actually do the full 4 weeks but have 4 nights a month respite. But what we were finding was, if people wanted to have more of a break, we had to bring respite carers in, and it was quite challenging. And also people were tired as well. People are tired. So we did think that 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off might suit some people a bit better. And we might be able to, I guess, look after our carers better, have more continuity for the children and young people. So we decided we would try something a little bit different. What do you do on the weekends? Do the kids play sport? Yeah, they do. So depending on what they enjoy, but yeah, a lot of the kids love sport. If you're in Broome, they'll go down to the beach. They love to go crab fishing, bring them for walks to the park. They don't typically have visits with family on weekends. So the weekends tend to be quite relaxed because they're not in school. So yeah, it's how you would spend the weekends as a family with kids. You know, and I guess with 4, if you have 4 of them, it's probably trying to juggle so that they all get to do an activity that they like, to make sure that everyone is happy. But yeah, that's pretty much what the weekends look like. FIFO sounds great. Ah, yes. Well, very different to FIFO mining. We were like trying to come up with some ideas and thought, you know, FIFO fostering might be a goer. Who knows? And Heidi thinks it sounds like a good model. Yeah, look, we really hope so. We really, really hope so. I'm thinking it sounds quite appealing, actually. I might need to apply myself. Anyone else have any questions or comments?
If we do the FIFO, like I'm in Broome at the moment, if I choose to work, if I choose to go to Kalgoorlie, is that doable, or do I have to work in Broome?
No, look, you don't necessarily have to work in Broome. If you have a preference to go to Kalgoorlie, that would be great, actually, because we need more carers in Cal actually at the moment than Broome. So yeah, that's fine.
Sweet. And if I need to go to Perth because my family's down there, can I do that as well? Like change the flights where I go back to and leave from again?
Yeah, I can't see why not. Yeah, we've budgeted for the flights. So yeah, that should be fine.
Excellent, excellent. Sounds great, actually.
You're making it sound better now. The more I think about this, the more it sounds appealing.
Yeah, no,
Sharon, I'm going to fill out a call me back form. Can you get someone to call me back as well?
Yeah, cool. No, thank you.
No worries.
Kate, you said there's potentially different rosters. Am I assuming you would fly in, say, on a Monday morning and potentially fly home on a Sunday evening? Is that something how it would work along them lines?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I guess really for us, it's around generating interest from people. This is the first time we've tried this. Okay. So it's really having, and we'll have more discussions with you guys if you're keen. I'd love to get you all in or have a bit of a Zoom session and figure out, you know, and then we can figure out the real logistics of it. But it was really getting a sense of would people be interested in such a role. Yeah. But yeah, that would be what we would think. Would be you'd have the same day that you would fly in and fly out, and you'd have, you know, 2 other carers alternate with you.
Yeah.
So sorry, go on.
Sorry, was someone else wanting to speak?
No, sorry, please keep going.
Yeah, you said obviously, you know, we can talk about remuneration and those things later on if people become interested, but would it be right to assume there would be meal allowance, or how would that work? There would obviously be shopping for the children for food.
Yeah.
We would need to do a weekly, fortnightly shop. Would that incorporate an allowance for the carers, or do we buy our own food, or is there an allowance? How does that work?
There is an allowance outside of your reimbursement for the food and the utilities. So yeah, your food would be covered. So yeah, you would go and do the food shop, but you would have a budget for food.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be over and above your carer reimbursement. So it's a little bit different to, you know, when you're fostering in your own home, because, you know, you receive that reimbursement, but you're expected to buy the food and everything else out of it. This is a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's like I said, you'd have obviously the accommodation is covered, utilities, and a vehicle as well. Each house has a vehicle as well.
Okay.
And then for things like activities for the kids and stuff like that, there is a budget for that as well. So that is something that you would work out, you know, with the caseworker around, you know, what the kids like to do and making sure that there was a budget for that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Have companion cards? Do they not have companion cards?
Yeah, they should all do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about being resourceful, you know, yourself, and trying to find things that don't cost an arm and a leg with them. But yeah, I mean, some of the kids are signed up to do different things, like sports and recreations and stuff like that. But yeah, otherwise, in Kalgoorlie and Broome, activities are, you know, relatively cheap.
Most of the Aboriginal youth I've worked with over the years love their football and cricket and sports.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Yeah. And it's so good for the kids to get out and get that energy out. So yeah, as much as possible, keeping them engaged and active wherever possible. So Julie just asked if the homes have games and activities. Yes, they do. Yeah. And can you do emergency care on your 2 weeks off? That's a good question. I don't see why not. Yeah, emergency care, do you mean in your own home? Because yeah, I don't see why you couldn't do that. I guess we just need to be mindful that you are having enough of a break, and that you're able to do the 2 weeks. And then if you're caring in your 2 weeks off, it might be a bit full on. But if you're comfortable and we're comfortable, then yeah, I don't see why not. I mentioned earlier, actually, to Vince, we were chatting before it started, you know, if you're assessed as a carer with life without barriers, you know, there are lots of different avenues. So if you're assessed as a family group home carer, you know, you could also then foster in your own home, because we could do just a home safety check. And we would just need to make sure that we have a police check working with children and stuff for everyone else that lives in the home. But there wouldn't be any reason you couldn't foster in your own home. And we also have our disability host care program as well. So, you know, I was speaking to a gentleman earlier. He's got a lot of experience in disability as well. So, you know, that's something he could do going forward. You're very welcome, Eva. Moira. Yes, we do provide cultural training for carers. I'll hang around for a few minutes if anyone else has any other questions or anything like that. Feel free to ask, or if not, have a lovely day, and feel free to give me a ring if you have any other questions. Or like I said, if you'd like to proceed, either just click on that call me back form or ring that 1300 number. Yeah.
Call me back. Please.
Yeah, no worries.
Call me back form, you said.
Yeah, yeah. It's sorry, it's just here in the message box.
Okay,
So
got you. Yeah.
Click on the link.
Okay.
Or else, if you want to just tell me to call you back, I can do that if it's easier for you.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I couldn't find that link, so that's okay. Yeah, got that.
No
Okay,
worries.
thanks.
I'll give you a call back. So Sharon's just sent that form again in case anyone can't link the other one. Heidi said it sounds like a great job. It does sound appealing. Yeah, definitely challenging, but I think it would be very rewarding. And you'd have some nice downtime as well. Okay, well, if there isn't any other questions, then I might just say goodbye, unless anyone else has anything else.
What website do we go on to talk to you, or what's your email address? How do I get in
I'll
touch?
just type my email address here for you.
Thank you.
No worries. And if you just type LWB into the website if you want some more information, then that's a really good resource as well. It typically has more general overarching information. It doesn't have a lot of information on the family group homes. So if you want more specific information around the family group homes, then feel free to touch base with myself.
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you.
Not on mic, I'm on mic now. Kate, do you by chance manage any group homes in the Bunbury region?
We don't have any group homes with children and young people. We have disability group homes in Bunbury. Yeah. I don't manage them, but yeah, I mean, I work closely with the team in Bunbury who do. So yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, then yeah, be sure to let us know.
Okay, thank you.
Oh yeah, Sharon's just sent the videos if you'd like to watch the videos of the carer stories. They're just on the link here in the chat box as well. Okay, well, if there aren't any other questions, that is it from me today. Thank you so much for coming along. Thank you, Sharon. Thanks to Heidi and Mark as well for coming in. That was really, really lovely to have you answer some of those questions, Heidi. And yeah, I hope everyone learned a little bit more about our family group homes. And like I said, feel free to give me a call if you'd like to discuss it further. We would absolutely love to hear from you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Kate. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you, Kate.
Bye.
Bye from Shirley and Sandy. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Thanks,
Shirley and
Heidi.
You see
Sandy.
later?
Bye.
Hang on. Can you see later?
No. Oh, darling.
Hey,
She's
bye.
gorgeous.
Bye. She's trying to keep the phone.
She wants to eat it.
She wants to eat it. Where are you? Say bye.
Aw. I think I've just turned you on mute. Ah, no. What's going on?
Oh.
I think I muted you by accident, Heidi. Sorry.
Where'd she go?
I can't
Where's
see
that
you
view?
for some reason. I'm not sure if everyone else can.
Not at the moment. There we are.
Yeah.
There we are. Hello, beautiful.
Oh.
Hi. Hi there. She's lovely. Hi, Mark.
Oh, now I can see.
Hi. All right. Thank you,
Okay.
guys. Thanks
Oh,
very much for
goodies.
listening. Talk soon.
No worries. Thank you all.
All right,
Thank
bye,
you.
Kate.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.